Can you tell us about the water bills and your concerns about them?
Sure. So there's 3 water bills. I have them right here, 2705, 2706, and 2707. 2705 is the bill that suggests that every diversion point be measured and then reported upon. 2706 talks about a water fee, and 2707 talks about appropriating water for groundwater studies. So the first bill, which is designed to require measurement and reporting, is probably the one of greatest concern. The water fee bill secondarily also of considerable concern, and then finally the last bill I think most people would support, trying to find funding for figuring out the nature and extent of our groundwater systems. The water measurement bill is challenging because our water is already measured, but it's measured in ways that some people don't understand as measurement. What you have are situations where you're allowed to divert so much water, and then and there's different points of diversion. There's stream flow diversions, and then there's groundwater diversions. So groundwater is diverted through a well, and that's measured with a flow meter, and then surface water is measured usually through a weir or some other device. Most of our systems, as I said, are measured. Those that don't have formal measurement devices are regulated by water masters. So you have people coming out and checking to see how much you're diverting and where, and then they regulate you depending upon the nature of the system. So the concern that anybody who's familiar with systems has over a measurement bill is how much is it going to cost, and how much better off will we all be as a result of measuring. So most people understand that most of your water irrigation districts, the water's already measured. Many of your wells, I'm going to say about half, the water's already metered. And so what we're talking about is a narrow scope of points of diversion that don't have measuring devices in place. Perhaps weirs, which a weir is of course a device over which water flows through a special space, and you can then measure it by inches of water going over the weir. And then, so anyways, long and detailed and technical, but measurement most assuredly has its place, because if you don't know how much water you're diverting, you don't know if you're staying within the terms of your water right. On the other hand, the degree of measurement and the kind of measurement is a huge issue. Up in Hermiston, for example, if you go up and look at how they measure water out of the Columbia, with massive amounts of water diverted and then it's spread over hundreds of thousands of acres, that water is measured very, very precisely. And that area is turning into what I would call an industrial farming zone, because we have huge pivot systems and huge tape irrigation systems, and so it's turning into a much more industrialized farming area. And boy, everything is measured right down to the last drop. In your much more rural areas, where you're not trying to turn everything into an aluminum jungle, you try to balance the ecological benefits of not industrializing those systems. And this is the kind of discussion we're going to have this afternoon, I hope.